Hello. In the last video I built a compost bin and filled it, but whilst I was doing that, something that happened that I didn't tell you about in the other video. I thought I'd make a separate video about it. As I was going to get some more of the stable sweepings to fill the compost bin, I looked up the lane and I saw something just on the corner, something moving very slowly, and I thought, oh, what's that? So when I got closer, I saw that it was a hedgehog that was moving very, very slowly. Normally a hedgehog would have been a long distance away by then, by the time I got to the top of the lane. So I thought, well, it doesn't look very healthy, or it's not looking very lively at least. So I kept pace with it, walked very slowly, because there was a car coming up behind me, and I thought, well, I don't want the car to squash him, so I went very slowly and kept an eye on him, and he just looked very sickly and very poorly and sniffling and sneezing, and I thought, it's definitely sick. And when we got to the car park, it just couldn't move any further. It just didn't have any energy, didn't seem to have any energy. So I went close there, and the guy that was in the car sort of stopped and had a look, and we decided that, you know, it was a really sickly hedgehog and we should do something about it. But it was Friday evening, it was getting dark, and so we thought, right, I think we better sort of put it somewhere safe, because otherwise the foxes would have got it. Because I walked up to it and picked it up, and it was in my hand, and it just wouldn't move. So we thought, right, we'll put it somewhere. And because it was late and there was nobody about, and my phone had decided to run out of power, so I could just got a message out to somebody, can you find me the number of the RSPCA? And he texted me a message back, Google it. And of course I couldn't Google it because my phone was running out of power, and I just didn't have enough juice to do that. So I thought, well, I'll leave it overnight, and so I took it back to the plot, put it in the shed, found a couple of tubs and put it in that, covered it and left it overnight, because I thought, well, rather than taking it home, because it would have been more distressed by being moved about, I thought, well, if I leave it on the plot and then we'll see how it is in the morning. If it feels better, then we'll just release it. If it doesn't, then we'll do something about it. So I got it some food and I gave it some water, and of course as soon as I put the water in, it sucked it up like it was a vacuum cleaner, and I put in a second bottle of water, and he drank that as well. So obviously he was badly dehydrated. Found this poorly hedgehog on the allotment, well, between the lanes, and I think he's sneezing a lot, so he looks like he's got a bit of a flu. And typically my phone's just run out. Wait, get back. My phone's run out, so I gave him some water. He just had a good drink of water, and I've found him a couple of slugs, so I'll leave him, but he's really sniffling and sneezing, so he's really got a bad cold. And I walked up to him and picked him up, and he just didn't move. But he's picked up a bit now that he's had a bit of a drink and something to eat. So I'll leave him overnight and see how he's in the morning. So I thought, well, I'll leave it overnight and see what happens, and came back in the morning. When I got back early the next morning, I checked on it first thing, and then I brought it out so that I could actually take a photograph of it and see how it is. Well, there's the hedgehog in the morning. I've given it some more water. It didn't eat the slugs I gave it, so it doesn't seem... It sort of made an escape attempt this morning when I picked up the lid, but I brought it out into the sun so you can have a look at him, because it's dark in the shed, but yeah, he doesn't look all that happy. He's still got that cold and not very energetic, so I phoned the RSPCA and they said, well, take it to the vet. So that's what I'll do. I'll give it a little bit more time and I'll take it. If it's still not any more lively later today, I'll take it to the vet. Right. Just in case you're wondering, these are actually plastic, not glass, so there's no chance of she doing any injury to herself. And I'll put her back in the shed with another container on top, so it keeps her nice and dark and well, they're nocturnal animals, so she'll go back to sleep. I phoned the RSPCA and they told me to see how it was after a couple of hours and then take it to the vet. So I asked around for a local vet and I found one, and whilst I was waiting a couple of friends came around, and so I showed them the hedgehog and put it back in its box, but I didn't put the brick back on, so it was just a couple of pieces of perspex. And whilst I was talking to them, I didn't realise that the hedgehog had managed to push the perspex up and get out and escape. So when I realised, I had a look around but I couldn't find it, so I thought, well, it's gone. I thought if it's got enough energy to get out of the box and run away, then it's obviously feeling a little bit better, because the night before it couldn't even move, it could hardly move. So I thought, well, nothing I can do, I can't find it, so I can't take it to the vet. Later on, another hedgehog turned up, and it just walked straight in. It was clearly a different hedgehog because it was healthy and a different size. It walked straight in through the door and straight into the shed. It walked straight past me and didn't give me a second look. It was sniffing around, clearly looking for its mate. Obviously it could smell that the other hedgehog had been there overnight. I followed her around as she was searching, just in case she managed to find the sick hedgehog. She just didn't seem bothered by me following her around, so was obviously preoccupied with looking for her mate. I didn't know hedgehogs were such devoted couples. Eventually I lost her in the weeds and long grass. Later on the same Saturday morning, I was coming back with a wheelie bin full of sweepings and saw a crowd of people gathered in that very same corner where I'd first seen the hedgehog. And when I got there, one of the ladies was holding this hedgehog, and I thought, oh, and I told her what had happened, and she was quite keen to look after it. And she was like, no, I'll look after it, I'll make sure it's alright. So I thought, okay. So I gave her the tub that the hedgehog was in with a bowl of water and things. Thought, oh, it'll be familiar territory for him anyway. he spent the night in there, so I gave her that and she went off with it. But I never did find out what happened because I never saw her after that, and I heard that she'd got pregnant and left and somebody else took on the allotment, so I never found out what happened to that hedgehog. Despite not finding out what happened to that hedgehog, I hope the little fellow was okay. They're like buses. You don't see one for ages and then two come along at once. But anyway, enough of that. And in the next video I'll be making a little work area and make a start on sorting out some barrels and things for making my own liquid plant foods. So goodbye for now and come back soon.